So here we are for Infopulse webinar series. Today will be a fantastic topic, a critical one for some. We will talk about RPA. So just few words about Infopulse. Infopulse is a young lady of 30 years old, very experienced, gold partner Microsoft, Center of Excellence in many technologies, R&D based in Ukraine, member of a bigger group named Tietolri with 24,000 engineers reaching 90 countries around the world. And Infopulse is a part of this group. So today we are lucky to have a talented and beautiful expert in RPA. So we start by the lady, Anastasia Ždadová from Infopulse, Svavar Vidarsson, direct from Iceland, and Mirad Maglik from Bosnia, from Microsoft. They will introduce themselves during our webinar today. So let's go, let's do it. The recording will be available in few days. So if you, for any reason, you don't have the right connection of internet, you will have the recording. We want to start. Anastasia?
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for the traditional ladies first.
I'm French, sorry, but...
So my name is Anastasia and I'm responsible for robotic process automation and Infopulse. I hold the position of delivery manager and I will be more than happy to share with you our expertise in automation journey.
Super. Svavar?
Yes, thank you very much, Emmanuel and Anastasia. My name is Svavar Vidarsson and I'm the CEO of Imperio. Imperio is a IT sourcing company and we do a lot of projects. We are in almost every domain and we are close and really good partnership both with Microsoft and Infopulse. We have been in the RPA industry now for approximately 5 years. So that being said, that RPA is a relatively new subject. So we have been following from almost the beginning to where it is now, and very exciting things is going to happen. So hopefully I can share my experience and how we approach such projects and the benefits of it.
Super. And Mirad from Microsoft, our gold partner. We are gold partner of Microsoft, sorry. Mirad, we don't hear you. So we have a little problem with the connection. So Mirad, if you can jump in. So maybe we will hear Mirad a little bit later when the technology will be back on track. Let's start by what is RPA? What are these 3 letters? What does it mean? Anastasia, can you tell us more about what is this acronym RPA?
Thank you, Emmanuel. With pleasure. I'm really happy to speak today about RPA. Firstly, because RPA market is growing and it's a very visible moment. I hope you have probably already had that robotic process automation, let's call it RPA, is the technology that uses robots to perform repetitive tasks and executing business process. Need to say that robot is not physical mechanism. It's just a computer software. It's just a program that emulates the human action within other system. And maybe you will ask me why it's so popular. What is the reason of that? I think the answer is that the robot can imitate human actions. They can see elements, they can open application, they can open and close program, log into the system, they can follow links and click the buttons. It's important to say that they copy paste data, they can read data from documents and emails, touches different and forms. For sure, then create and move files from folder to folder and compare, check the data and perform some mathematical calculation. It's also really important in finance sector. More complex solution is that RPA can recognize text from PDF to docs to XLS. They can make screenshots from your computer and send an email and make some communication. And we can speak about what can the robots much more and more and more. The another reason of the popularity of this solution is that, moreover, there are vast variety of repetitive tasks and action in human daily job now. So I think these two reasons is why the robotic process automation has significant effect to all industry and business sectors, and including government, public sectors, healthcare, finance, and so on, so on. So answering these questions, to make a long story short, I try to emphasize that robot does the same things as the human in his daily routine job, I mean, but many times faster, without errors, and can work 24 hours per day, 7 days a week, without vacation, sick leaves, tired times, and so on, so on.
So you mean there is no mood for the robots? That's good. Okay, so you mentioned very hidden benefit of the RPA, this famous robot. Zvava, can you tell us more in detail with your experience with hands-on client experience? What are the benefits of RPA solution?
Yes, I can do that. In our experience here at Imperio, we like to think of it of like what they have in common. I mean, all companies or organizations, they do have their own value chains, and the value chain consists of support activities and core activities. And we like to think when we start an RPA project, we like to analyze the value chain to begin with. And it differs a little bit of the focus areas of the different domains. I mean, but all companies have their own processes, and they have like HR, they have some kind of manufacturing of services. So what the benefits of them all are that it's try to look at what they are trying to achieve. I mean, what is the primary goal? How can we take a look at their the strategies, their overall strategies and business strategies? And we can say that, well, if you, for example, are in banking, the most popular ones are error handling. In manufacturing is operational excellence, or how do you get competitive advantage, and so on. So I would answer the question that to say that there are benefits that are common in all areas, but also they have their own special niche, maybe, if you like. So in my experience, for like now we have done RPA projects for manufacturing, we have done it for the government, we have done it for a car rental company, we have done it for healthcare, and I can frankly say that they are all benefit from it from the same perspective. I would say that.
So you mentioned that the democratization or the what was the hype or reserved to an elite several years ago, it's going on the market because everyone understands that the repetitive tasks are taken by this RPA with a low risk of error, much lower than the human handling of it. So that's the key benefit of the RPA, right?
Yeah, I would agree on all that. I mean, there are benefits from the repetitive tasks, the redundant tasks, and how to make. I mean, how can we make the employees do more value-added work? I mean, I would say this is the essence of the RPA program.
So so very important insight from your side means that it bring back the people to people, right?
It does. And also, I have one example. Like we were doing a project for a company that insourced a service from a large bank, and what they did, they have this ticketing coming in, and they had 4 FTEs working on that, and the management was a little bit afraid of, okay, how we're going to approach this? Are we going to fire those 4 people? And the result was quite the opposite. The result was that those people that did these redundant tasks, they managed to do more value added afterwards. It was an ROI of 2 weeks maybe, and the SLA just went skyrocketing, and the people already that was working on those tasks, they moved on to more value added by nurturing the communication and relationship with their customer. So they actually got more business out of it.
So that's a fantastic benefit. Maybe the most essential, in fact, in any type of business. Mirad, Microsoft is one of the front runner of providing technology for RPA. Can you tell us more about the role of Microsoft and how you see the trend? Is it confirming that all the vertical, all the type of industry, they are going in RPA, or they need to go to the RPA? What are the trends?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, so let's give it another try. So hi, thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. I mean, I'm really happy that I'm able to take part and help Infopulse, one of the leading partners that we have on delivering this. My name is Mirad. I work in Microsoft as the head of business applications, which encompasses the robotic process automation technologies or hyper automation technologies as well, for the cluster of 24 countries in Central and Eastern Europe. And I'm really happy to be here today. And thank you very much for everybody who joined the call as well. So talking about trends, RPA is an interesting thing that is kind of getting traction over the last couple of years. And I would say that 2021 is the year where it finally breaks the niche into the being amazing technology. So from one standpoint, it's nothing new. Okay, so RPA, robotic process automation, has been with us for, I would say several decades as well, but the barriers to entry, the investments needed, and the maturity of the technology that was available at the time really meant that it was only available, or that only a small sliver of customers, mainly I would say in manufacturing and financial industries, could have taken the advantage of it. However, what's happening over the last couple of years is we have this proliferation of cloud technologies, right? And just as cloud has kind of democratized the business applications, the infrastructure, the productivity stack as well with the companies, this is now the case for the automatization as well. So robotic process automation is now becoming more prevalent because the solution, the infrastructure for it can actually be served from the cloud. So you don't need to go up front in big investments, investing in your data center, in deployment and so on, but can easily start small and then grow or scale as your company definitely needs. So this democratization is kind of affecting pretty much every department or every industry that we're seeing. And I'm really happy about this. But RPA doesn't really on its own by itself in this automation space. What's also important to think about is digital process automation. And I'll give you briefly the differences between the two, if you don't mind. So,
sorry to interrupt you, but we have some difficulties to really catch now what you are saying. So I don't know if it's a problem of a microphone, but for the moment we have difficulties to hear you well.
Now, is this now any better? Hello?
No, it's pretty similar.
Yes. Sorry, it has some echoes, something like that, or a kind of a Larsen effect. So maybe we can go to the next point of the RPA webinar. Means Anastasia, what are the key challenges for adoption of the RPA for medium, big, small enterprises? We are not yet there. We are potentially interested in it, but maybe afraid about what we mentioned, what we heard sometime, eliminating people. So can you give us the honest feedback for clients we already served and what happened? You already mentioned it, Zlava, with one example, but on the perspective of Infopulse, what are the key challenges?
Thank you, Manuel, for the questions. I will try to be honest. I should. As most of us understand, not both, as all of us understand, yes, the medal always has two sides. Yep. And speaking about two main positive efforts for business, for sure, for automation, for all of business, for medium, small, for enterprise. The first one is the cost saving. Yes, it's about the money. The business always looking for some effect for business. I mean financial effect. And yes, RPA provides business with the cost reduction, and it's true, and it's important for sure for business. And as my boss says, for instance, said, for instance. Customer only pay money for products and a solution only if it saves him money or makes something faster and easier, and at the end of the day, for sure, also save him money. So also need to mention that among of the cost saving, among of the finance effect that RPA has for business, it's also typical for him fast return of investment. Yeah. And in general, in less of 12 months, 1 year, yeah, most enterprise already have a positive return of investments and potential further accumulate cost reduction, I mean. And we had several cases in our practice with different percentages of ROI and of full-time employee saving. I'm sorry. For instance, we have a process in a report preparation for finance department, and it was the saving of 6 full-time employees. In another case, and the percentages of ROI was approximately 300, and it's really high, I think. And
with the example you gave in terms of benefit from the industry, what those clients face in terms of challenges that you have seen or witnesses during the process of implementation, or even before, during, or after implementation of the RPA? what the companies need to care about, and how they can avoid these potential challenges.
Okay, thank you. It's a good question. I think it's another side of the medal, yeah. So as we understand, as all of us understand, the main value for each company, it's the people, yeah. And when we speak about automation, when our client, when each customer, each business just want to start the automation, they will. They need to start to work with his team because many people are scared that tomorrow a robot will replace them, and it's normal, yeah. And the team, I think that the team should be well informed about the company strategy and be awareness and be maturity. And in this case, working with the people is not one-time activity for the manager. It's a permanent job, should be, with the final goal to set up the team for cooperation and not for the resistance. And this is the main challenges for each automation, I think, for each automation and digitalization. But at the end of the day, if you speak about the team, team and people will believe you as a manager only after that they feel in a practice and receive his positive impact and convenience of the technology. And when the technology reduce him an intellectual, an interesting and routine job. So working with the team is the main challenge.
So we are not only a technology company tweaking some software here or there, but we are able to consult our clients to implement it and caring about people. Very good. Zvava, you have also first-hand experience with clients. Why your clients made this decision and certainly a top business priority? What is the why here?
Well, if you take a look back a few years back, I think it was more of a buzzword, and some companies said, okay, we want to do it just because it's a buzzword, and like we want a drone. But when it gained more popularity, more companies started to see the actual benefits, and nowadays almost all companies, in my opinion at least, can adopt RPA. The trend is going into citizen development, meaning this is moving from the IT to the business. So the originate of RPA need is coming from the business side, not the IT side.
Mm-hmm. So you mean that the technology start to be mature enough?
A huge leap has been made over maybe one and 1.5 years. The hyper automation, with the interaction of AI and all kinds of other technologies that help you go even further and be more digitally mature. More and more companies see also the benefit of just the basic benefits of RPA as well.
And in terms of competitiveness of the business, because Anastasia, you were mentioning the cost benefit as reducing costs, but is it only the only one component, the financial component, to implement RPA? Is it the only benefit?
It's questions to me?
Zvava or Anastasia?
Okay, I can take this one. No, there are a lot of benefits you can take. This is not only just pennies and cents. You can do so much with it. You can make your relationship with your customers more efficient. You can make the customer, your clients, more happy about who you are and how you work. So this is much wider perspective than only what you get in the box at the end of the day. So I mean, you can have happier customers. You can move up your service levels. So it's endless opportunities with the RPA.
So it's not only financial. It's again, we are not turning around. We are centering it. In fact, the robotization, if I listen you, put back the people in the center of processes, right?
Totally correct. Totally correct. Yeah.
That's good. That's the opposite of the perception of robotization. That's incredible.
Yeah, you could also think of like having, sorry, you can also think it like having a virtual assistant. It doesn't have to be fully automated. You can have it assist you on certain tasks. I mean, you can just trigger it with some actions, and then it's working with you or beside you instead against you.
So still, the management can be done and the decision can be done by the human. It just facilitates the daily work by cutting repetitive tasks. Very good.
Yeah.
Mirad, maybe you want to add something on that?
Yeah, let's see. Third time is a charm, right? So is this better
Yes,
now?
that's working well.
Okay, right. Yeah, so I completely agree with what Anastasia and Favar are saying as well. So we're in business for value creation, and value creation really can mean so many different things. One is, yeah, we get more revenue. The second one is we kind of save some money. But at the same time, we kind of live in a very connected world right now. So it's not only about whether we make more revenue or whether we kind of save some money during our operations, but it's about keeping our customers happy. It's about, you know, having 24/7 customer service, so being able to respond to a customer or changing demands quickly. And as we are moving into this brave new world of IoT, Internet of Things, as well as, you know, we are moving into these thousands or millions or even billions of sensors that are going to be all around us. Automation and acting on this information, this influx of information, will simply be beyond the reach of a single human or even an organization without being basically relegating some of these tasks to technology. And computers, call them robots, call them automation, call them whatever you want here, are really good at doing that. You know, something that human beings aren't, which we are really wired to be creative, to kind of think about new and innovative ways of doing things and then kind of driving forward. But once we get into having to repeat so many of the same tasks so many times, we are error prone, we get bored. It's not simply not the best use of our time. So you can look at it from that direction. You can also look at it from something that has been kind of very important over the last 18 months, is work-life balance as well. So how you can offload some of these tasks to help you out, you know, be more productive at work, or kind of shield your personal life as well. So I give you a small example here. So for those who use Power Automate, which is Microsoft's solution for hyper automation, includes both digital process automation, meaning, you know, in between automation between different cloud solution or SaaS solution on the API level, includes robotic process automation as well, which is the front end or copying, you know, what human being is actually doing on the front of the desktop. One of the example flows is, give me an alert when my boss sends me an email. Okay, it's a small robot that you do, but once you're kind of out of the office, once you pretty much need to be reachable, right, 24/7, or at least a longer period of time than 8 hours, it gives you this freedom. So you know that important people are pinging you, so you can actually respond, but everything else can kind of wait till you are back in the office. So this is one of the examples of how you can actually save some time for you as well, or, you know, some stress away, take some stress away from you. But, you know, if I can kind of answer to the first question that you posed at me, is, so robotic process automation is nothing new. It's used to be a niche product. Now it is coming into the forefront because really the infrastructure to deliver it on the cloud is there, and it's really close to everybody. But it should not be looked as the panacea for every single problem. Yes, it should be combined, as Favar was mentioning, with digital process automation. So taking off, you know, bringing out modern technologies or modern solutions into the mix. It should also be part of a wider artificial intelligence strategy that a company should adopt in order to kind of help out, reason on the events, reason on the data that is here, and then take the best appropriate action that you could potentially have. And all of this will really help human beings concentrate on what is important for value creation. Okay, so I wouldn't really be, I understand that people are scared, and with every technology that is coming, people are afraid for their jobs, what the future is going to bring, and so on. But historically looking, we are already there. We have been using robots for a while. If there is a robot in your mobile phone, okay, there's probably a little bit of artificial intelligence in your PC as well. But if you use things like Google Assistant or Siri, you're pretty much already there. So think about how those technologies can actually help you in your business life as well, and not just personal. This is how I would frame the whole automation or automation story at large.
I can add something to it if I may. I have one experience story which I would like to share with you. I mean, for like 5 years ago, when we started this journey with our clients, it was mainly just predefined, calculated, strict processes that we were doing, just in the back end. But now it has moved to the front end. I mean, it was more for an enterprise level companies, big companies on enterprise level. But now we are seeing all the companies want to exploit the technology, and for now we are at the moment we are doing a very exciting project with the health institutes in Iceland. It's a governmental contract, and what we are doing there, we are combining all the health institutes into one tenant, and then all the health institute can contribute to this tenant. They can contribute to their own processes, and they can pull out processes to use. And we were very lucky that we had Microsoft on our side, and they accepted that they would fund this pilot project which we are working on now. So more on that later, but this is a nice story to tell.
Great insight. We have questions from our attendees. I propose that we keep them at the end on maybe a 5-10 minute Q&A session. So following what you say, and maybe Zvava, Anastasia, you can both jump in. We were talking a little bit about that, but management challenges, strategic, tactical, operational, how to make it happen that the implementation of RPA is smooth.
Yes, I can do that. When we start with our clients, we start by taking a look at also, of course, the processes they had, and we suggest we go ahead and begin with a very simple one, so it will be a quick win. It'll be like a low-hanging fruit, if you like, and we start working with on the strategic level. Then we take a look at what is the position in the market. Are they in heavy competition? Are they looking for speed of digital transformation? Are they looking for competitive advantage? And then we move lower in the power of 3 to the strategic level, and create. Often we have to create a digital strategy to be in line with other business strategies. So. And then when we come also with the change management processes and try to make them understand how they can fully exploit the solutions. So, and at this level, we often get a little bit stuck because they want to use a lot of time in selecting the right tool. So this is something that has to be kind of tweaked or made more clear on the strategic level, because the tool is not the essence of it. It's always about the input and the output, right? So when we move then to a tactical level, then we go to threshold itself, which is, well, in historical perspective, it's the price. The classical tools has been very expensive in comparatively with other like Microsoft is offering now. So this has been a huge threshold and entry point for many companies. But now you can, if you are considering Power Automate, for example, then you can use. You only pay for the licenses. You only pay for per process. As you before, you paid for a big whole robot that you can run for 24 hours. And if you needed just 1 minute more of your robot, then you have to buy a complete new one for the same price. So this has been very difficult, and this is also the reason that many more companies can now exploit the technology.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Anastasia, you want to add something about our experience from Infopulse side?
It's a good question about managerial experience. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for answering me. I totally agree with Svavar. He said a lot of cool and interesting things. And as I mentioned before, to starting the automation, if we speak about starting the automation, yeah, firstly, we need to understand and to analyze, to identify our pain points, our expectation, analyze our previous backgrounds, and based on it, build and plan our next steps, our digitalization, and our strategy. And I think it will be enough to add.
Okay, so it means that we know how to implement it, and we are here to help the client to make it happen with the right processes, the right step-by-step processes. Okay, understood that. From Microsoft, what is the most popular and maybe potentially new features that Microsoft can propose in the RPA?
Thank you very much. So I was mentioning a couple of things before as well. So one of the differentiating factors, I would say, is how we look at the artificial intelligence and how we are making these models and the artificial intelligence easy to use, not just for the IT or the information or IT specialists, but for pretty much everybody in the organization. So our solutions come with pre-built models for many different things. One is, for example, invoice processing, which seems to be an interesting scenario for robotic process automation. So this comes predefined as well. Another thing that is important also is recently launched process mining or process advisor within our robotic process automation or a Power Automate solution, which basically identifies the bottlenecks in your business processes right now and suggests the best possible candidates for automation, so that the impact of your efforts is quickly seen. So that's one thing. Another one that is really important, and it's kind of very often overlooked as well, are the issues of security, compliance, and governance as well. Okay, if we are democratizing something, what's really important is that we are keeping track of what everybody in the organization is doing as well, so that we are not exposing knowingly or unknowingly customer information, for example, which can be a huge issue in the GDPR era, right? But also competitive information and so on, and that our security on these robots or these flows or automations is as strong as the security we put on top of our regular user accounts, because these are the processes that are handling business information on behalf of the users. So what's really kind of an overarching strategy for Microsoft is to build in security, compliance, governance, and privacy controls, below every single solution that we have. So if a customer, for example, has already embraced Microsoft Azure or Microsoft 365 for the productivity infrastructure. The identity plane, the security plane, the governance is there. So that means that there are no gaps really in the coverage of these important tenants that we have. And then we are seeing, many customers actually embracing this through this particular route that I just mentioned. If you are interested and you already are on Microsoft 365, for example, you can already test a portion of what we are covering here right now on our low-code Power Platform family of products, where Power Automate, as I was saying, is the automation part of the story. Power Apps is really what you can do with building up quick applications without much coding. And then finally, Power Virtual Agent, as Pavar was mentioning, can be your personal assistant and your kind of way to address not just the customers, but also internal questions that you may have. So it's kind of important to look at it from an integrated point of view and not just as a point solution, I would say, because point solutions are dying off. One of the important points that I would like to make is, recent, or not so recent actually, almost a year old, Gartner's report on robotic process automation, where it says that by 2024, if we are looking only for robotic process automation, 60% of standalone tools that are not integrated with the rest of the stack, that are not integrated with security, that are not covering artificial intelligence or digital process automation are going to be obsolete. So we really need to look forward and see what is the solution that will today take care of robotic process automation, but tomorrow will help us or enable us to extend into the other fields that I was just mentioning.
So are you saying that any type of industry, any size of industry, if they are not starting the process, not only to think, but to implement RPA, they potentially lose the ground comparing to the competitors?
Let's see what the market forces tell us in the end. What I'm trying to say here is, right, what the biggest analyst houses in the world are saying. And to be honest, we are seeing the same trends as well. So in order to democratize these solutions, you need to make them more accessible and more complete as well. And then also look into, RPA can kind of bridge the gap between the legacy, the on-premise, and so on. But we also need to be able to integrate the modern solutions in our flow as well. So solutions coming from the cloud or being able to kind of be integrated on the other plane. So think about the RPA as an integration plane rather than a solution in and of itself.
I agree. From my experience, I can totally agree on that. I would say most of my client base, probably more than 90%, are moving from the classical RPA tools to Power Automate at the moment. And that's the reason also, because they want to get more out of what they are getting. They want to integrate it with Power Virtual Agent. They want to integrate it with Power Apps and BI, for instance. And that's, in fact, one process that we are now developing for the government is the onboarding process. And then we are combining all of these into that, right? Fully exploiting the Power Platform. So this is what my customers want, at least at the moment.
That's the essential. We are here for working for our clients. So that's good when you have this feedback. We have 15 minutes before the official end of this webinar. So what happened on the first 45 minutes? We have, I think, a good vision about what is RPA, what are the key benefits overall. But there is a question from our attendee speaking about one question. So I will just read it, not trying to interpret it. Have the speakers noticed that this is starting to filter down to medium-sized businesses between 30 to 300 people working in the company? Are we going on this level to have already a benefit of RPA, or it's too early? What is your take about that? What do you think?
Is this a question to me or go Anastasia? Go ladies first. Yes.
So it's open.
Okay, Emmanuel, thank you for questions, and thank you for the questions from our audience. I'm so sorry. Could you please repeat for me what is the number of people in the company? I understand that medium business, but what is the number of people?
The question precisely is medium-sized business between 30 to 300 people working in the company.
30 to 300 people. Okay, RPA solution, as I said, is it's really good for each business, because it could be effective in the different directions and in the different business. Yes, in finance department, in accounting department, in customer service department, and I think all these activities are potentially for each business. And if speaking about, for instance, of terms of implementation, the solution, the robotic process automation for sure depends of the business requirements, But if you speak about a short period and not really advanced robotic process solution, it could be up to 4 weeks to implement the solution, which can help, to our customer, to our business, to automate their process. And it doesn't matter is that for enterprise or for medium-sized business.
Okay, so I mean that sorry,
it's also
Zara?
I think to me it doesn't matter the size. I mean, you can do it if you are a one-person company, because the entry point is very low.
So is it a matter, to answer the question, is it a matter of how many people are working in the company, or versus how many tasks are repeated permanently during the day, during whatever, that make RPA something relevant? Maybe Mirad, for you?
Yeah. Yes. Can I kind of interject here as well and give you an example? So Coca-Cola, for example, started with 11 people use robotic process automation. You know how big the company is. So yes. It doesn't really matter how big the company is. All right. So that's the first thing. Every single company has a need to automate something. You know, from the personal level, I just gave you an example of what I'm using when I'm out of the office, when getting alerts about my boss. But you need to look into your own processes and identify where you lose or spend the most time. And these are good candidates. And I'm pretty sure every single organization has something. It can be, simple approvals. It could be something that you need to copy from one table to another, from one tool to another, that your people are kind of repeating 10, 15, 20, 50 times per day or per week. So these are the good ones. So look for those, and I'm sure that then everybody can read the benefit. And what I was saying in the beginning, and Svavar was also making a very good point there, is that by lowering the entry barrier, by making this really cost effective to, and approachable in terms of, financial investment that you need to make, everybody can benefit. So there isn't much to lose. Even if you find out that this isn't the best approach for your particular process and so on, you're still being able to kind of, without big investments, without spending a lot of time, as Anastasia was just mentioning, a few weeks, for a reasonable size company, for a reasonably sized complex process would be the time needed. For simpler ones, obviously simpler. So you try, you see whether this is something for you, or you decide by yourself. That's the democracy behind technology, being able, for everybody is being able to test it out, try, see if it works. If it doesn't, then you move on. And this is also the essence of what we have been kind of saying over the last 5, 6, maybe even 10 years of digital transformation. You go, you try, works, you move on, you adopt it. It doesn't work, you move to the next thing. You're not stuck in, big investments as you were before. So you bet all your money in a single technology or a single approach. Yeah.
I will add, I'm comfortable to say that in front of Microsoft, but who didn't experience through Excel a repetitive task of a copy paste from one cell to try to automatize calculation and so on and so forth. That's already a kind of a process with Visual Basic trying to copy the repetitive tasks. So we know that for many years. Okay, we have another question. Sorry.
If you are ready to kind of test this out and try for yourself as well, there's Power Automate Desktop, which is a free product working on Windows 10 and 11, helping you build your own robots on your desktop. So you can't share them within the organization, but you can kind of get the feeling of what it is. So the product is free. Everybody is welcome to use it. And there you go. So maybe that's a solution to your Excel copy.
That's a good thing to taste the product. That's fantastic. Another question from the attendees. Beside of the communication with the team, what you were mentioning, Anastasia, please, what could be the 5 main steps to implement an RPA in a company from scratch? 5 steps.
5 steps. Okay, good questions. The first one, just do it.
So 1, 2.
Okay, so you need to identify the scope here. You need to analyze your process. And here, as my colleague says, mirrored, and as Mirrored mentioned, it's need to see what process is better to automate. And for sure, here we remember it's a process with higher volume, repetitive process, yeah, rule-based process with low exception and for sure with high ROI potential. Number 2, yep. Number 3, please see on the process and analyze which of it make your life easier. Select it and automate this process with Power Automate Desktop. It's free of charge, we remember. The third one, it's also, remember I told about that, it's needed to gain the confidence of people in your organization and try to collaborate with people, yeah. The 4, find reliable partner and choose the technology, but we remember that desktop is a free of charge. So, and start your RPA journey. Number 5.
I think this information, everyone get it. So 5.
Yep.
Good.
Good job.
Thank you for that. Okay, we have, I don't know if we can answer this one, but it's an interesting also, even if we mentioned that there is a desktop version for free, but still. So can we have example of companies being able to utilize, sorry, but for my French, government R&D grants to help with the cost of outsourcing an RPA provider? So is there any mechanism? I think, okay, I can potentially answer this one. First of all, it will depend in which country you are implementing that. There is, in some country, tax incentive, in other, no. Then, if you are within Europe, there is certainly some potential grant, but I advise to go through specialists of being able to kick this grant, because it's a very complicated process to go through, that each step is followed by what are the requirements from getting the grant. But do we have this experience, Svava, Anastasia, maybe from Microsoft side?
Yeah, in my case, at least what we are doing now for the government is sharing of the bots and the work. Then I introduced this idea to Microsoft, and they jumped on it and said it was an excellent idea, and they are paying for the pilot project via the end customer investment fund of Microsoft. So they are paying for it. So that was a great help. It was a kickstart, And I think when we are done with the pilot project, then we have already a huge pipeline of work.
So possible from Microsoft. I think it's a case to case, Mirad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so let's kind of think about what are the specific scenarios and what we want to achieve with this. But I'm not really sure that I can completely follow the train of thought right now here. So would be nice if we can kind of get more context and provide a separate answer later on.
I think the question is how I can finance the implementation of RPA, basically through grants.
Well, through grants, I'm not really sure. So Microsoft has this program, as Svavar was mentioning, this program of what we call customer investment funds, and based on the specific customer, based on the specific geographies and the size of opportunities, we can kind of invest some certain portion of the deal value in building up either pre-sales or the post-sales capabilities with the partners. Okay, what we also are trying to do here specifically with low code and the automation as well, is kind of to build internal capacity with our customers to carry on doing this by themselves. Okay, so this is the essence of what we call, or what is now called, the low code application development. It's giving the customers the tools, the capabilities to carry on at least implementing basic or simple applications by themselves. So I was mentioning before the Power Apps and Power Automate and Power Virtual Agent, which are part of the same story. The idea here is to enable citizen developers. This is how we call them right now, right? People who are not developers but experts, to develop something, or at least at the prototype level for themselves, and then engage more professional developers either within the company or outside to bring this solution to fruition, to production, basically. And we would be, based on the case-by-case basis, definitely willing to listen and see how we can work together on this.
So thanks a lot. I think I need to kind of wrap up, and for the 2 minutes I have for that. So first, a big thanks for you guys sharing your knowledge in this discussion format. Thanks Anastasia, thanks Svavar, thanks Mirad to have made it happen, to answer the question of our attendees, and to explain that no, definitely no, the RPA is not a robot replacing people, eliminating people, but more to help people to do the job that they reconnect to other people than just people to machine. So that's the good news. The second great news, we have a desktop for free trial from Microsoft. So if you want to play with the RPA, you can do it with no cost. So that's great, at least to try. But more pragmatically for businesses, yes, definitely you have much more advantages than inconvenience or a pitfall. The only one, if I can summarize, you will meet is certainly to care about people. We are talking about that. It's that you need to give the vision why the RPA is implemented, how it will help people in their daily work. Then you will potentially have a good implementation of RPA, and your KPIs or OKRs will go much better. So thank you very much. Maybe a last word to our talented speaker. 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I hope that that you had this interesting time with us, and I hope that you still have questions. And I think all of us will be happy to answer in and to consulting you regarding the RPA. So stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well from my side. I apologize for the technical issue, but this has been the theme of our of at least another of the last year that we had. I'm here as well, through Infopulse to help out with advices. Try the free offerings; they're really good as well, and hope to see you soon as well. Thank you very much, Infopulse.
Thank you.
Yeah, same for me. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been very great and a pleasure to be here. Of course, I'm available for a chat or a message, wherever. You can find me on LinkedIn, or maybe I don't know if my email is in there. But don't hesitate to contact if there's anything I can help you to get started or answer any question. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you.